In a small town nestled between rolling hills and sprawling cornfields lived a girl named Mia, whose dreams were as vast as the night sky she gazed at every evening. While most of her classmates talked about becoming doctors, teachers, or engineers, Mia's heart was set on one thing: becoming an astronaut. Ever since she could remember, Mia had been fascinated by space. Her bedroom walls were covered with posters of distant galaxies, planets, and the space shuttle. On her dresser sat a collection of model rockets, neatly arranged in order of their launches. She would spend hours at the library reading about famous astronauts, devouring stories of their courage, their resilience, and their insatiable curiosity. Mia knew that someday she would join their ranks, venturing into the great unknown to explore the mysteries of the universe. But the road to space was not an easy one, and Mia knew this better than anyone. She had heard it all before: the skepticism, the doubts, the raised eyebrows when she told people her dream. "You want to be an astronaut? That's for geniuses," her classmates would say, laughing as they tossed a ball across the schoolyard. "You're too small for something like that," her uncle once told her over a holiday dinner, dismissing her with a wave. "Why not be a teacher like your mom?" But Mia wasn't one to back down. She didn't mind the teasing or the doubts. If anything, they fueled her determination. She wasn't just chasing a dream, she was building one, and she was ready to work harder than anyone else to make it come true. When she was in middle school, Mia's science teacher, Mr. Jacobs, noticed her enthusiasm for space. He would catch her reading space encyclopedias during lunch or doodling rockets in her notebook during breaks. One day, after class, he asked her to stay behind. "Mia," he said, with a knowing smile, "I hear you want to be an astronaut." Mia's eyes lit up. "Yes, more than anything." Mr. Jacobs nodded. "Well, that's a pretty big dream, but I think you have what it takes. There's a science camp this summer at the university, focused on astronomy and rocketry. I'd like to recommend you for it." Mia couldn't believe it. "Really? But I don't know if I'm smart enough." Mr. Jacobs gave her a stern look. "Never doubt yourself, Mia. You've got the passion, and that's half the battle. The rest is about hard work and learning." And so, that summer, Mia attended the camp. It was the first time she met people who shared her obsession with space. For 2 weeks, she learned about astrophysics, launched small model rockets, and even met an astronaut who had flown on the space shuttle. By the time the camp ended, Mia's dream felt more real than ever. High school, however, proved to be another challenge. While her friends were out at parties or talking about sports teams, Mia spent her weekends at the local observatory, volunteering and studying the stars. She enrolled in advanced physics and mathematics courses, often staying up late into the night to solve complex equations or read the latest scientific journals. Her grades were good, but she often felt the weight of doubt creeping in. One day, after a particularly difficult physics exam, Mia walked home, her mind heavy with uncertainty. Maybe her classmates were right. Maybe becoming an astronaut was too far-fetched for someone like her. She wasn't a child prodigy. She didn't come from a family of scientists. She was just Mia, a girl from a small town with a big dream. That night, she stood in her backyard, gazing up at the stars as she had done so many times before. But this time, they felt distant, unreachable. The enormity of her dream weighed on her shoulders, and for the first time, she considered letting it go. As she stood there, lost in thought, her mother came out, holding a steaming cup of cocoa. She handed it to Mia and looked up at the sky, her eyes twinkling. "You know, when you were little," her mother began, You used to stand out here with your arms stretched up like you were trying to touch the stars." Mia smiled softly. "I guess I still am." Her mother turned to her, her expression serious. "Dreams don't come easy, Mia, but that doesn't mean they're impossible. Every astronaut you admire, they all started just like you, small, unsure, but they didn't give up. And neither should you." Those words stuck with Mia. From that moment on, she doubled down on her efforts. She knew that if she wanted to make it to space, she would have to give it everything she had. After graduating high school, Mia was accepted into a prestigious university with a renowned space science program. It was there that she truly found her stride. Surrounded by like-minded students and brilliant professors, she thrived. She joined the university's rocketry club, where she learned to design and launch rockets. She studied advanced physics, orbital mechanics, and human spaceflight. And though the workload was immense, Mia never faltered. She knew that every late night, every challenging problem set, was one step closer to her dream. During her junior year, Mia applied for an internship at NASA. It was a long shot. Thousands of students applied each year, and only a select few were chosen. But, to her amazement, she received an acceptance letter. That summer, she packed her bags and headed to NASA's Johnson Space Center, where she worked alongside some of the brightest minds in the world. It was there that she met Dr. Evelyn Carter, a former astronaut who had completed 3 space flights. Dr. Carter quickly became Mia's mentor, offering her advice, encouragement, and the occasional tough love when things got difficult. "You've got what it takes, Mia," Dr. Carter told her one afternoon as they worked on a project. "But remember, this path isn't easy. It's going to test you in ways you can't imagine. But if you want it badly enough, you'll make it." Mia soaked in every word, more determined than ever. Over the next few years, she continued to excel in her studies, earning a degree in aerospace engineering with honors. But Mia knew that her journey was far from over. After graduation, Mia applied for NASA's astronaut training program. It was the moment she had been preparing for her entire life. The selection process was grueling. There were physical tests, psychological evaluations, interviews, and countless other challenges. But Mia faced them all with determination, never letting doubt creep in. Months later, she received a letter in the mail. Her hands trembled as she opened it, her heart pounding in her chest. And there, in bold letters, were the words she had been dreaming of. "Congratulations! You have been selected for NASA's astronaut training program." Tears welled in Mia's eyes as she read the letter again and again, unable to believe it. She had done it. After years of hard work, sacrifice, and relentless pursuit, her dream was finally becoming a reality. The training was intense, more difficult than anything she had ever experienced. She trained in zero-gravity simulators, learned to pilot spacecraft, and underwent rigorous physical conditioning. But, through it all, Mia never lost sight of the stars. Finally, the day came when Mia stood on the launch pad, suited up in her astronaut gear, ready to board the spacecraft that would take her to the International Space Station. As she looked up at the rocket, towering above her, she felt a surge of pride. This was it. The dream she had nurtured since childhood was about to come true. As the countdown began, Mia thought of all the people who had doubted her, who had told her that her dream was too big, too impossible. And she smiled because she had proven them wrong. The engines roared to life and the rocket lifted off, soaring into the sky. Mia looked out of the window as the earth fell away beneath her, the blue oceans and green continents shrinking into the distance, and then, as they reached orbit, The stars appeared, brighter, closer, more beautiful than she had ever imagined. Mia floated in the zero-gravity cabin, looking out at the endless expanse of space. She had made it. She was an astronaut. And as she gazed at the stars, she knew that this was only the beginning. There were worlds out there waiting to be explored, mysteries waiting to be uncovered, and Mia was ready for whatever the universe had in store.